Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. Except, this isn't the Hermitcraft server that you guys know. Obviously, I've been playing on the Hermitcraft Season 5 world with all the ocean monuments and things like that. It's all going really well. But, obviously it's Season 5, that means that there were seasons before it. And I started on Hermitcraft on Season 2, back in 2013. 4 years ago now. And you know what the strangest thing about that is? Is that I still kind of feel like the new Hermit. Like, I still feel like I'm a new guy on the server, when actually I'm one of the veterans. Anyway, I thought it would be fun to check out what we had going on back in the day, and see if we can bring back some nostalgia, and already it hit me like a ton of bricks. Now, one of the main things that I remember about Hermitcraft Season 2 is that it was basically Corrales' season, in that he did all of the really pretty looking builds on the server, and I have to say, I mean, this still looks gorgeous. Like, I still wish I could build like this. Oh, it's so pretty. Now, in terms of my personal builds in this area, well, this area right here was actually constructed by me. This big square and then the circles in the center, this was built by me in my first episode ever of Hermitcraft. I kind of wanted to come in and make a good impression and actually create like a town center that we could build off of. Looking back, it was a bit of a bold move to come onto the server and say, hey, I'm going to build the central point of the town. But you know what? Like, it's not the most complex design in the world, but I actually think it's quite nice. It definitely serves the purpose. And then over there, we've got my starter house. This was my little hut where I had, I think, a few bits and pieces. Mumbo's humble abode. Please wipe your feet. Yeah, we've got some bits dotted around inside here, and then we also have, on the other side of the area, we have my original Redstone consultancy. Now, believe it or not, this tiny little building right here, I seem to remember, took me a very long time to design. Amazingly enough. But if you pop inside, yeah, this is where people would give their Redstone build requests down into that chest. Man, my building has come on a long way. Oh, and just to warn you, stone bricks is a running theme in this season. It's pretty much all I built with. It's also quite interesting to see all the hermits that no longer play on the Hermitcraft vanilla server. Like, we have people like, well, obviously Corrales is there. We've got, I think these were Slipgators. That giant skull is Monkey Farms. I think that house was by Top Mass. We have Venom Kisser, that was that house over there. Hypnotized was this house. Yeah, that's interesting. It kind of hadn't dawned on me how many people had kind of moved on to other things. Oh, and that big tower I think was built by King Daddy D-Mac. Yeah, so there's all sorts. On Spoon, there's the Church of Spoon there. The original Spoon. Look, he got in there before me. I really am one of the old hermits. It's starting to dawn on me now. I was just walking through the nether and I saw the portal to the iron farm. Now, this was before Tango Tech was a hermit, so someone else had to build the iron farm on the server, and it was my job. I decided to take it on, and this is what I did. Now, I just went down to the storage system. I remember this storage system right here, I thought of as being a massive project. Like, I thought it was absolutely enormous. I think I spent 2 episodes on it. It's pretty small. I build this sort of thing in like half an episode these days. My episodes really have changed, definitely for the better. Also, as a little side note, I say that Tango wasn't a hermit at the time, and that is true. He wasn't a member of the Hermitcraft server. But while I was building the iron farm, I was having some issues. I couldn't get it to work, so we actually had to whitelist Tango so that he could come onto the server, do some troubleshooting, and then we unwhitelisted him. Looking back, that's a little bit harsh, but he was invited for Hermitcraft Season 3. I keep getting distracted. I promise you I am going to make my way over to my base at some point, but I just wanted to pop past, I can't remember what this was. I think this was like Corrales' Booby Mountain. I think that's what we used to call it because of this mountain right here. It is really pretty. I think he based it around like a lodge-based campsite. So he's got things like barbecues, he's got like play areas, runways. This is a very high quality, high class campsite with aeroplanes. Oh, it's so cool. And some camper vans. Oh, what a beauty. Oh, and apparently I pranked him with this absolutely adorable little guy. Look at him. That is very sweet. I've got would the thumb look like that? I suppose it would. Oh, this is absolutely gorgeous. I love it in here. It's so cool. Right, anyway, we should probably pop through into my base. Yeah, let's head off to the base. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and we're in. So this is it. The jungle base. And I remember this. Oh, I used to think this was massive. I seriously used to think this was an enormous base. So we've got the mob spawner up there. And then that drops the items down into the Mumbo statue, yeah, and they drop down into this little storage system. I do quite like this storage system, but I don't like the jungle wood. One thing that I have always loved, though, is the halo. And yes, as you can tell, I don't think there's ever been a Hermitcraft season, apart from Hermitcraft Season 5, where I haven't actually built in circles and had my base centered around a mob farm. Hermitcraft Season 5 really is bucking the trend there. Yeah, this is... God, this has hit me like a... I don't even know what to say. Like, I remember working on all of this. I think the main thing that's caught me by surprise is scale. I'm really surprised by how small this is. Now, obviously, I was still at college at the time, and I was only doing 2 episodes a week, so of course the base is going to be smaller. But I genuinely thought it was bigger than this. I thought it was pretty massive. Anyway, let's do a quick tour. So we've got all of the decoration through here, and I'm going to take you through into that section in a second. But this is the sorting system, and yeah, it's alright. It's the standard design. The only thing that I will say is that I don't seem to have finished it. This half doesn't seem to have any items being sorted in, which is a little bit strange. But if we pop through into here, you should see something that you probably recognize from this most recent season. This is when this tutorial literally just came out, and it still works. As you can see from Hermitcraft Season 5, the new sugarcane farm is considerably bigger than this one, though. And I seem to remember this one wasn't particularly efficient. Yeah, we never seem to have very much sugarcane being produced by this thing. But we've got all sorts going on. We've got an old obsidian farm. That's when those used to work. I think that's a potion brewing station, which never really got used particularly too often. And then if we pop through here, I think this is where my gold farm used to be. Yeah, I remember this because I did an entirely time-lapsed episode. I cleared out this hole and time-lapsed it and then spoke over it for like 15 minutes, and that was the episode done. That was it finished. Just a whole digging episode. And then down at the bottom here, we have this gold farm, which is horribly inefficient. It is terrible. Look, I think the maximum we got out of this thing was maybe 3 stacks of gold nuggets in the entire Hermitcraft season. Like, there's a few zombie pigmen dotted around there, but they never seem to fall off. And it just never used to produce any gold whatsoever. It was terrible. It was absolutely awful. I think you can definitely tell that I was quite new to the survival Let's Play setup, simply because there's quite a lot of like unfinished and uncompleted projects dotted around and just some things that didn't quite work out. This was my first ever proper survival Let's Play that lasted for more than like 15 episodes. And I think that kind of shows. Anyway, if we pop up to the top here, we actually have some of my favorite projects. So this was like the village. I think this was like a little village that I wanted to create, and that kind of travels through here. But then we have these 2 things, these 2 farms, which I think are great. We've got the chicken farm, which looks brilliant. Like, I love this little hut. I think that's such a cool style. So we've got that guy right there, and then we have this thing, which is the tree farm. Now this was actually really successful. It worked brilliantly. I think I designed the tree farm specifically for this world. I did a tutorial on it, and it's actually one of the most viewed videos on my channel, I believe. I think it's nearing 1 million views, but it looks great. I really like the style of it. I mean, some of it's a little bit strange, like this just big bar of wooden planks is a little bit odd. But for the most part, it's quite a cool looking structure. I genuinely do really like the style of the base. I love the fact that it's kind of melted in with the jungle. It's not like chopping down the jungle and chucking a base in there. It kind of, I don't know, it just slots in. Everything seems to be built around the landscape. It's quite a cool style. And of course, if we pop over to this area, we've got the totem pole, which was actually like a homage back to a season that I started. I did 1 episode of a new Let's Play, and then I got invited to the Hermitcraft server, and in that episode I built a totem pole, and yeah, I thought it'd be worth kind of mentioning that on Hermitcraft Season 2, but then we have this little room, which is quite nice. I remember being really proud of this. I spent a full episode doing this room, and it never served a purpose, but people seem to quite like it. And then we have the Redstone Museum. All the Redstone builds that I really liked at the time that I thought were great. And you know what? It's pretty similar to my current list. I mean, there's a torch key, That's my favorite ever hidden staircase. Still works like a charm. Got old tea flip-flops, my old melon farm, the bud switch, the hose switch, and what on earth is this thing? I have no clue whatsoever. Now, one of the more controversial episodes of Hermitcraft was me working on the new fishing village. So we've got this lovely railway that goes right the way across. That this actually took me a very long time. Like, this took me absolutely ages. And that goes across into this area here. And people hated this place. People absolutely hated this place. They thought it was a terrible idea for a project. I quite liked it. And you know what? I feel like if I had stuck with it, it actually would have ended up being quite good. But people didn't... I liked this build. I designed this all by myself. That's a nice looking build. This tower's also pretty nice. I didn't design this one, but it is also really cool. And then there's other stuff, like I think this was like a toll booth. there used to be a guy in there, I'm fairly certain. And then this house here, and I think I wanted to build a few other houses, but as I say, people were just complaining about the style of the build, so I ended up stopping, which is a bit of a shame, because it's pretty cool. We could have done something quite special over here. But anyway, that's pretty much it for my actual base. We've got the industrial tree farm over there. We've got the homage to the giant Rubik's Cube, which was built by Joe Hills, that Rubik's themselves, like as a company, actually tweeted out saying how cool it was. So we've got that. But no, that's pretty much the old Mumbo base done. So I'm going to kind of pop around the server and see if there's anything else worth looking at. I'm fairly certain there's another district off in this direction. I'm remembering having to run up and down this area quite a bit. So let's see what it says here. We have got village. Yes! I remember! New Hermiton. And this is where I think I built things like the Labyrinth and stuff. Yes! Oh! And the Easter egg hunt and things. Right, so this is my little house here. Once again, stone bricks. So this is that little thing. Went for a super modern theme. I didn't do too much else in this area. I think I just built that base. People were building crazy things over here, by the way. And then I think actually this is when Tango got invited to Hermitcraft. Tango got invited at the end right here, and there is some rather crazy builds. That's a naked sheep. And the new Redstone consultancy, I built another one. So this is also a project that I worked pretty hard on, which is the Labyrinth. I made a little mini game where one has to try and go through a maze and get to the bottom. Now, I actually really like this idea, and it's something that I might actually do again on Hermitcraft Season 5, but do it like monstrous. Maybe from like the sky limit down to bedrock. Just to be really stupid, I don't know. But, you know what, this is actually quite tricky. In fact, I went pretty crazy for the games, because this is the End Olympics, so you would have to Ender Pearl to the next pillar, and basically try and get a really quick time, and then here we have... This was the horse racing track. So the idea for Hermitcraft Season 2, our big community project, was going to be a really long horse racing track that kind of wound through. This was actually my section right here. Each of us would just build like a tiny little area, and then eventually it would end up looking really quite good. It never really worked out, and we never had like full coverage of the track, as you can see. But it was a pretty cool idea. Oh, and then we've got like the target practice. I was building all sorts of mini games. I do remember this was one of my favorite builds on the server. Look, this was Corrales' place. This was Corrales' shop, and he built himself peering in. I think that's just the funniest idea ever. Like, and it was perfectly executed. I have, however, just been distracted by Slipgaze's old base. This thing was ridiculous. I think it was called the Spiral. I'm sure you can see why. I mean, how he actually built this thing and got the calculations correct, I do not know. Because I would have definitely got something wrong here. Blimey. I think the way that I would describe a lot of the builds on the Hermitcraft server Season 2 are young. Like, my base especially looks like a very kind of finding my feet base. I'm trying to work out how to do this whole thing. And I think maybe the server as a whole was just young. It was people trying to work out how to do the Hermitcraft server thing and actually play together as a functioning, coherent multiplayer server. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But it came together to create quite a cool mess. Am I allowed to call it a mess? It's been 4 years now. I would say, like, some of this stuff is a bit all over the place. But it's good. That's what Minecraft's all about. This has been so interesting. It's been so cool to look back and see what it was like back when I first started on the Hermitcraft server. The start of this rather ridiculous and crazy journey. I mean, just to think, when I first started this season, I was 17 years of age, I had 70,000 subscribers on YouTube, I was still at college, and I didn't really know if this YouTube thing was going to go anywhere. These past 4 years have been absolutely insane for me, so thank you ever so much for your continued support. I hope there's some of you who watched Hermitcraft Season 2 when it was first releasing are still watching today. That really would make me feel absolutely fantastic. But anyway, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later. And as always, check out the latest film on the filming channel. The link will be on the end screen. It's a good one. Released yesterday.